Tonight on News 5 Live, government introduces a $5 million supplementary allocation to cover the cost of the cannabis referendum. Former party leader Patrick Faber is back in the House. What's the status of Waterloo's cruise terminal project? These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Necesitas un proveedor de servicio móvil que te permita estar conectado con una cobertura LTE rápida y confiable en cualquier instante y desde cualquier lugar. ¿Quieres hablar con tu familia? ¿Compartir tus experiencias con alguien especial? ¿Administrar tu pequeña empresa? Para todo lo que necesites te mereces la mejor experiencia móvil. Ahora puedes hacer mucho más con los planes de datos postpago aumentados de Digi. Puedes disfrutar de 8 GB de datos en cualquier instante por tan solo $55 mensuales. O puedes compartir hasta 120 GB con 6 de tus amigos más cercanos. Estos son más datos LTE para que disfrutes durante el día, por las noches y los fines de semana sin restricciones. Disfruta a lo máximo con más datos para llamadas y mensajes ilimitados en todos los planes postpago de Digi. Visita la tienda Digi más cercana para inscribirte hoy. Solo necesitas una identificación válida y un comprobante de domicilio. Únete a la red de mayor velocidad y cobertura en Belice. Para más información visita nuestra página web www.livedigi.com o envíanos un mensaje a través de WhatsApp o Facebook. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to Smart Code 5885. Here are this week's contestants.
He's crazy for believing that I'll never leave the ground. Stay with you. laughing like children, living like lovers.
Into the unknown, into the unknown.
And focus on things that are gonna make us laugh. Take me as I am.
I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible.
Those chills that I knew, they were nothing without you.
Thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are.
Round and around and around and around we go. No,
Yo te amo. Yo te amo sobre todas las cosas del mundo.
Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home.
call me, take me deep, pretend my feet could ever wander.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday, live, only on 5.
I'm on my way to Benny's, where I can get what I need and save some money. After 75 years in the business, nobody do it like Benny's. Hello, how may I help you? Anything you need, we got you. Whether it tools or tiles, lights and fans, we are serving with a smile. Genuine plumbing and electric supply, quality construction supply, heating and air condition, 100% Belizean. Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings. Quality and savings. Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings. Quality and savings. Benny's, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings. Quality and savings.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, July 15th. I am Annlyn Apollonio. The House of Representatives met today in a marathon session that ran for several hours, and there was a lot that was covered during the sitting. Among them was the introduction of a supplementary allocation to cover the cost of the upcoming cannabis referendum. The national vote on the establishment of a marijuana industry in Belize has been estimated to cost $5 million. It is a hefty price tag for an exercise that neither the country nor the government had expected to pay for. But the churches were successful at garnering the requisite 10% of the electorate in a petition on the topic. Hence, it has triggered a referendum that has to be held by September 4th. During a break in today's House meeting, the media had an opportunity to speak with Prime Minister John Briceño on this and other topics. Here's how the PM answered questions on how this cost was calculated.
It's going to come as under Cap 2. And it is an expense that we'll have to do. If you look at, this is a pittance what was spent for the ICG. So we're trying to hold on the cost. The cost of a referendum is not only what it will cost for the Elections and Boundaries Commission, what they will spend, but also there has to be an information campaign so that people could truly understand what is it, what is going to happen, what is the question, and inform people properly so that when they go to the polls that they can make a decision based on what they believe, how they should answer the question.
Now that the government has defined $5 million that it didn't budget for in its recent national budget, we ask, could this have been avoided had there been proper consultations with all interested parties, including the churches? The churches and the opposition argue that government should have done more by way of reaching out to all stakeholders. On the other hand, the Briceño administration maintains that it did so extensively. We asked the Prime Minister for his thoughts on the matter.
I think that's a question that you need to ask the churches. Early on, when we were just starting out on looking and consulting, because listen, we need to give credit to Minister Musa. Minister Musa did extensive consultations, and you just heard one or two persons, openly objecting to it, but basically you did not hear that outrage or great cry that we should not do it. We did extensive consultations. We even had it in planned beliefs. We spoke about it even when it was being decriminalized. I said, well, why don't we proceed or go all the way? What have we done with the decriminalizing? What we have done is now that we have empowered the criminals, because the criminal or the gangs, they are the ones that control the marijuana and sell it to us, the Belizean people. And then, so now when you have it in your possession, once it's under 10 grams, it's legal, they can't do you anything. But so where did you get it? You have to buy it from somebody. So we felt that if we can legalize it and regularize it, that we can then control it and remove it from the criminal elements. And secondly, then that we can earn some much needed revenues for the government of Belize.
Another question that came up today during the interview with the Prime Minister was whether a referendum on the legalization of marijuana was absolutely necessary at this time. Prime Minister Briceño said that money could have been used on so many other social needs, but now we have to hold it because of the threshold that has been reached in the voting population.
Honestly, I was one of them that was saying, maybe we should have the referendum and get it over with earlier. But when they told me that it was going to cost as much as $5 million, we said, it's really too much. And that $5 million we could use for help people for get food on the table or help kids to go to school. There's so many other things that we can do. Maybe we can talk to the churches if they would prepare to say to hold it back, and that when the time comes that we've worked out all of these issues and we're ready to actually put the law into effect, to hold the referendum before we do that. I mean, I'm prepared to do it. I'm prepared to speak with them and ask them if they're prepared to do that, but we can't hold it back anymore. It is out of our hands.
So, what will become of Belize's international banking relations if we happen to get a yes vote on referendum day? We've already suffered greatly in terms of correspondent banking relations a few years ago. And the same question has arisen again if bigger countries that do not support the marijuana trade refuse to do banking with us. The Prime Minister assured that the government will find a way around it.
We did present a paper to Cabinet, presenting to say that that the banking community is still a bit concerned, and asking us not to proceed until those banking issues have been addressed. So we have agreed to that. We've already agreed that this law will not be enacted until we have found a way of how is it that we're going to address the corresponding banking concerns that the banks have. So that was not going to go into place immediately. But what is ironic is that the UDP, when they decriminalized marijuana, what they also did was legalize the cultivation of hemp. And as you know, that hemp is a controlled substance in the United States. So we already have that problem of the hemp, that if these growers of hemp would grow in such large scale that now that they want to be able to export, it also could potentially cause problems. So we need to do everything possible, and I want to assure the Belizean people that even if we get the yes vote, we are not going to implement this legislation until we have managed to address the way where that industry or this industry will not affect the corresponding banking relationships that we have.
There's much more news after the break. Stay with us.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "And now behold, I go bound in the Spirit unto Jerusalem, not knowing the things that shall befall me there, save that the Holy Ghost witnesseth in every city, saying that bonds and afflictions abide me. But none of these things move me. Neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy and the ministry which I have received of the Lord Jesus, to testify of the gospel of the grace of God." For the last 15 years of his life, British evangelist Leonard Ravenhill and I were the dearest of friends. No one ever influenced me more because of his prayer life and deep commitment to God. I shall never forget his being in his office on one occasion when he related to me that he had met a great Christian man at a church in Dallas whom the pastor highly trusted, who could manage his savings he had put aside for later years. Sometime later, I was back in his home when he shared with me that his friend had lost everything he had entrusted to him. I could detect no animosity in his voice or demeanor, no sense of fear for his loss, and no desire for recompense. I remember turning to him and saying, "Dr. Ravenhill, does this not bother you?" Without batting an eye or a quiver in his voice, he took the high road that the Apostle Paul took when confronted with what lay ahead of him, and humbly said, "None of these things move me." Don't allow Satan to threaten your victories for tomorrow. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
This no right. Garbage in the streets, creating dump sites, throwing a trash on the highway. We not fit do that. Only we could stop this. Each of we play an important part in protecting our beautiful country. This that we believe. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSB, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Reusable plastics. Did you know that until we find an alternative for plastic and all its uses, we will continue to need plastics, such as in the health sector? Plastic becomes a huge problem for Belize when it becomes waste and is improperly disposed of. When it is thrown on the side of the road and in our rivers and seas, it's eaten by animals and in turn by people, and it becomes an environmental and health issue. It costs us money for disposal, filling up dumps and landfills, and paying for associated healthcare. So what can you do? Choose to refuse single-use plastics is step 1. Step 2, instead, use the plastics that were meant to be reused, like coffee cups, water bottles, and food containers. We're not talking about buying a $1 bottle of water. I mean, you can, but how long will that last you? Reusable plastics keep plastics out of the environment for a much longer time and are even better than other forms of plastics like biodegradable or even compostable or bio-based plastics. By reusing, you are also saving money since you aren't rebuying the same thing over again. Think about it. How many bottles of water do you buy every week? How much does that cost compared to the cost of a reusable bottle? Imagine what you can do with the extra money. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
This afternoon in Belmopan, we also took the opportunity to put to the Prime Minister the perspective of some Belizeans who have expressed their view that government's decision to not reduce fuel prices immediately upon acquisition means the government wasn't really giving us relief. There is that school of thought that suggests that to keep the fuel prices high, even as it starts to go down, is really taking back from people the relief they were offered when the prices were actually high. But Prime Minister Briceño explained that he had indicated from the onset that the relief would come in the form of a loan from the central bank, and it is one that has to be repaid. But he did say the government might have to gain back that money over a longer period now. Here's how he explained it.
I did explain what was going to happen. Now, what we need to do now is to relook at it and probably start to, how should I say, maybe we could start to reduce it, start to return a little and keep a little, and then over a longer period of time. So instead of trying to recoup in a few months, maybe we could recoup it in a year or two. So we could find ways, and we're prepared to do that because we do understand that we need to try to reduce the cost of fuel. And I know that the UDP constantly say, oh, you said you want to keep it at $9. Well, at that time, they were charging $3.64 a gallon on excise tax. Right now, they charge 1 cent. So that's the difference.
The government of Belize says it is prepared to support Port of Belize's cruise terminal and cargo expansion initiative, also known as the Waterloo Project, if they are able to meet all environmental requirements. The National Environmental Appraisal Committee, NEAC, denied environmental clearance for the project in November 2021. Shortly thereafter, Waterloo lodged an appeal of the decision on the grounds that the justification for refusing the environmental clearance are, quote, flawed, legally unsound, and unable to withstand judicial scrutiny, unquote. Several months have since passed and NEAC is yet to approve the project's environmental compliance plan. Today, leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, questioned why the necessary environmental approvals are being stalled. Here's that exchange.
Will the Prime Minister and Minister of Economic Development please update this Honorable House as to what his ministry is doing to find solutions to the problems that are stalling the Waterloo Port Project proposal, which, if approved, will bring tremendous economic development to Belize.
Madam Speaker, I have to confess that this is a curiously worded question by the leader of the opposition. I say curious because the question is not particularly well worded, you know. I mean, and if I recall, how much you? if I recall, this is the man that said that, you know, he's paid for putting words together. You know, he said he has made millions of dollars putting words together. And even get a Grammy, and he's a multi-millionaire. He just not spending money by a party, but that's another matter. I mean, he won a Grammy for rapping, but yet he can't put together one simple question to the host. I mean, so I'm still trying to grapple, you know, I mean, and trying to, you know, what is it? What is it that he's behind this thing, no? It's quite straightforward, of course, because everybody knows that you're trying to sing for your supper, but in this case, rap for your supper, because obviously somebody...
Madam Speaker, on a point of order, members should not impute improper motives on other members. You reviewed those questions, you made alterations to those questions, and he needs to answer the question straightforward, no speculations, no elucidations. Answer the question.
Let me provide a concise response, repeating information that has been aired publicly. The National Environmental Appraisal Committee, an independent body charged with assessing and approving environmental compliance plans, continues to review the environmental plans for the proposed cruise ship terminal at the Port of Belize site in Belize City. In the most recent update to Cabinet, indicated that certain critical information from the applicant remained pending, and the absence of that information, approval or disapproval could not be given. Nobody is above the law. Once again, government's position is simple. The law requires a NEAC approval for a project of this nature and magnitude. No less than the health of the Belize Barrier Reef is at stake. There are no massive projects that this government has stalled. If the Port of Belize project is a good one, this government will support it. But before we do that, they need to follow the law and they need to go through the NEAC process.
Prime Minister Briceño was asked if the government of Belize is concerned that the principal of the Waterloo project will back the churches and the opposition in the cannabis referendum because of NEAC's decision to refuse environmental clearance until all requisite documents are submitted. Here is how PM Briceño responded.
That's his right. He's a Belizean citizen, and he has a lot of money, and if he wants to support the churches just to spite us because we have not given him clearance under the NEAC, I mean, that's his right. The point that I made is that there is a process under the NEAC that every company has to go through. The Port of Belize or Waterloo, when they were doing their presentation to NEAC, there was some extra information that was being asked of them, and they refused to provide it. And it is because of that refusal, then the NEAC decided that at that time, they would not provide it. They have started again, and now they are prepared to provide the additional information. And I think that they have just finished giving now all the information. I think, I'm not too sure. I would have to double check with the Minister of Sustainable Development, because I have not spoken to the members of the NEAC to find out how far it is. But I think that they have issued all, and if they get their clearance, of course they're going to get the support of the government.
Former leader of the opposition, Patrick Faber, returned to the House of Representatives today after being absent for several months amid a personal scandal that also sidelined him as leader of the United Democratic Party. Faber now sits 2 spaces down from the seat he once occupied in the National Assembly. But he was in good spirits, notwithstanding the challenges that himself and his party have been faced with recently. We had a chance to catch up with the Colette area representative this evening, and we asked about his extended absence from Parliament.
Well, first of all, I had made attempts to come before. I, at one point, had COVID and I was in the country, but I was not able to. And I had a very mild bout of COVID, just a fever for a day and a half, but I was not able to get a negative test in time for the House meeting. And then on another occasion, I was at my son's graduation in the US, and I tried to get back, but there was a slew of cancellation of flights. So I'm very pleased to be back, and of course, I hold my duty to the people of Colette as my primary responsibility now. Of course, they have always been my responsibility as well, and so that's what my focus will be here on. But I never really left the party. I kept abreast of things. We have various different chat groups that keep us abreast of what is happening both in the party and inside of the government, and so I kept abreast of what was going on. There have been difficult times. I will make that no secret, and I believe people would see me as disingenuous if I said that everything has been rosy since certainly I left office as leader of the party. And there have been quite a bit of back and forth, to be honest with you. But a few weeks ago, the leader reached out to me and he apologized for things that may have been done or said, and I saw that as an overture for us to have a discussion. And so initially I had indicated to him that I would be returning to the country around the middle. I had not intended to come as early as Wednesday of this week because I didn't know there was a House meeting. I had to move up the time.
On a more personal note, we found out from Faber how he has been doing in the wake of the scandal that brought about his ouster earlier this year.
One of the reasons I was away, as you know, was for me to take time for myself, to work on me, to be a better individual, to bring about a better version of me for those people who I serve, and for myself as well. I've enrolled back in my doctoral program, as you heard me say to the Prime Minister today, and so I will have to go back and forth a little bit more. I was all but dissertation complete for a doctoral degree in public administration. I will have to take a course or two over because time has lapsed. It has been at least 2.5 years since I had any of those classes, and those 2 classes were basically preparatory classes for the dissertation. So you'll understand that I have to do that, just not because I repeat anything. So please, contrary to what the Prime Minister portrays, I'm a very bright guy, and I will say so myself and pat myself on the back. But that's what I'll be working on, and of course I continue in my therapy. My children were in California and Atlanta, and I visited with them and spent a lot of time with them. And for me, it was a wonderful healing process. Over the time, I lost my brother, my elder brother, John, who was like a father to me. And so it was a very difficult time as well. I spent some time with his widow and, you know, just tried to work on the personal side.
There's a call for persons interested in employment with the Ministry of Human Development where social workers are presently needed. Cabinet has approved the strengthening of the Women and Family Support Department under the Ministry of Human Development. This will allow for improved access and service delivery to ensure comprehensive support services to women and families and provide a strengthened response to domestic violence.
This is something that Minister Balaramos has been working on for some time and trying to find out. This is going to require some additional funding, but again, in this whole of government approach to looking at some of the social problems across Belize, what Minister Balaramos has been saying over and over and over again, we've gone through a pandemic, we're going through rising costs of living, we're going through a number of major economic issues that's having a serious effect on Belizean people, especially Belizean people who are at the lower levels in the economic sphere, and saying that, look, these people are having some stressful times. And so what the government is trying to do is employ more people to do social work, more people to help to do outreach problems.
After the break, Belize city bridges are in a state of disrepair.
Yo, this is Super G the General, and I want to invite you all to the
Belize International Music and Food Festival.
That will be held for 2 nights, July 30th
and the 31st at Sakachispas Field. This party insane.
Mr. Chip over you. As you left my yard, tell me why you come back.
You know it's yours truly, King Room Official.
It's your boy Stick the Artist.
My name is Clayton Williams.
It's your boy Dando.
Hi, my name is Deja.
TLC, baby. Blessings, everybody. This is Original Coffee inviting you out to the Belize International Music and Food Festival in San Pedro. There will be me, many other artists. There will be enough music, enough food. So come out, enjoy yourself.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Man, you really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
The 2022 Population and Housing Census is here, and our census staff will visit your home over the next 10 weeks. You may ask yourself, what can I expect when my household is visited? Well, data for the census will be collected in 2 parts. First, the interviewers will list all the buildings in their area of work and record some key characteristics of the building. For example, they will capture whether the building is a dwelling unit, a business, or an institution. They may ask you to confirm some information about the building when in doubt. The second part involves collecting information about each household, such as the number of persons living in the household, the type of dwelling they live in, and access to essential services. Information will also be collected about each household member, including newborns and the elderly. Remember, the data from the census is essential to make informed decisions on policies that could help improve your community. So when we knock on your door or holler at your gate, tell us to count me in. The Statistical Institute of Belize, providing Belize with quality, objective, and timely information.
As you may know, works have already begun to construct a new bridge to replace the Halover Bridge, which connects Belize City to the northern part of the country. And it would seem that the Belcan, Belchina, and Swing bridges in Belize City also need replacing. Back in May, Minister of Infrastructure Development, Julius Espat, shared his ministry's concern about the deplorable condition of these bridges. He shares the findings of the analysis conducted by engineers on the bridges across the city.
We are doing a feasibility study, and I got the opportunity to insert the 3 bridges as part of the feasibility. And that's why the initial report was done. Now that we have gotten that approval, the engineers are now working on a preliminary design to be able to come up with the first estimates. Of the 3 bridges, the Belcan and the Belchina is the best. That needs like normal maintenance, painting, and stuff like that. The second is Swing Bridge in how it's holding up. The Belize City Council had done some work a couple years ago, and that alleviated it a bit, but it's just like a band-aid effect. The major one is the Belcan.
Because about Swing Bridge, sir, they did say that buses should stop crossing it and that we were somehow
on the brink of some disaster that could happen?
Well, it's more for the Belcan than for the swing. We will have to make a proposal as to that. Yes, the buses and heavy traffic is what they're referring to. Does create more stress on these structures. And so we're trying to mitigate it to a point where nobody gets hurt. But if you're looking at the 3 bridges, priority number 1 is Belcan at this point in time. Priority number 2 is Swing Bridge. And we will deal with the Bell China with the resources that we have in-house presently.
Minister Espat says that the Hawksworth Bridge in the west is also being refurbished at this time. During the day's proceedings in the House, Prime Minister John Briceño made presentations on loan motions that Belize is getting to invest in infrastructural projects. One of the loans is from the Central American Bank for Economic Integration, CABE, for the rehabilitation of 16 miles of the Philip Golson Highway. The $48 million loan from CABE is for the expansion and rehabilitation of a stretch of road along the Philip Golson Highway between miles 8 to mile 24.
Well, we have base failure repairs. We're going to be construction of new paved shoulders to the it's 1.5 meters wide on both sides. In effect, that's 3 meters, which will be approximately a little over 9 feet wide, that will be expanding the highway, the entire area. We're going to be improving both vertical and horizontal alignments to address and improve road safety. You also have the revision and enhancement of drainage infrastructure to reduce the vulnerability of flooding. There's some areas that are prone to flooding, so we have to put bigger culverts. And with the kind of rains that we have, as we saw just a few weeks ago up north, where I had several inches of rain in just over 1 or 2 hours, obviously the drains that are there cannot, they're too small to be able to allow the volume of water to run out. And also the installation of road safety furniture, which includes pedestrian crossings, signs, road markings, and stud guardrails and lighting. The approved financing will also, Madam Speaker and colleagues, include the procurement of consulting services, engineering software, and project vehicles. Details to the terms and conditions of the loan are set out in the loan motion, which I have already read.
There's another loan that Belize is seeking, this time from the government of Taiwan for $75 million. The loan will be provided by the Export-Import Bank of Taiwan. A portion of the monies will be used to offset the budget deficit for the fiscal year 2022-2023, as Prime Minister Briceño explained.
This loan is being granted under highly concessionary terms from the Export-Import Bank of the Republic of China, Taiwan, and it is to be used for general financing purposes. The total loan proceeds shall be disbursed over a 4-year period, starting with the $42 million US in 2022, and thereafter $11 million US annually from January 1st, 2023 to December 1st, 2025. Further details as to the terms and conditions of this loan is set out in the loan motion that we have already presented to the members. The proceeds of the loan will be used for general budgetary support, as I had presented in, as I had stated in my presentation of the budget earlier this year. So we've already said that this loan was coming. It's not nothing new, but we couldn't present the loan motion then because we're still working out the legal documents. So this loan, this $42 million is the first disbursement of the $75 million total that Taiwan has agreed to lend Belize for budgetary support. So again, the first disbursement from this loan for this year now has been committed to finance the overall budget deficit for fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. Again, this is no news. You can go back to the records on my presentation and you will see that I did announce it. It will not be used to fund any new recurring budget spending or fund any new capital programs.
In keeping with its Plan Belize manifesto, the Briceño administration is moving full steam ahead towards constitutional reform. To this end, Henry Charles Usher, the Minister of Constitutional Reform, introduced a People's Constitutional Commission Act earlier today in the House of Representatives. That piece of legislation lays the foundation for the establishment of the commission, the appointment of members, procedures of meetings, and the autonomy of the commission. With members of the Good Governance Unit already named, Minister Usher says his ministry intends to launch the commission in the coming weeks.
In Plan Belize, the People's United Party made several commitments to the people of Belize with regard to decolonization. In Plan Belize, we had the quote, "The story of our people is one of resistance and resilience, forging a cultural and decolonization project in our sovereign and independent nation state of Belize." Madam Speaker, 41 years after our independence, it is high time that we as a nation own our independence, and we need to continue this decolonization project. So I'm very proud to stand here today to introduce this bill. It has had a long gestation period, Madam Speaker. The Prime Minister spoke about this process back in his September 21st Independence Day address in 2021. In the budget presentation, we spoke about the process of developing and creating a unit and making sure that we have this commission in place. So I am happy that we are now at the stage where we can introduce this bill to the House. And it was felt, Madam Speaker, originally that we should have gone through the 3 readings today. But after further reflection, the Cabinet, myself, those involved with the process felt that this is of such national importance that it's important that we just do the first reading and allow the people of Belize to have an opportunity to digest and make comments on this particular piece of legislation.
The House of Representatives passed an act to reinstate the 10% salary that was withheld from public officers back in 2021, making the salary restoration official. Prime Minister John Briceño, in his introduction of the bill, lauded his administration's economic performance over the last fiscal year. PM Briceño also noted that the reinstitution of the 10% comes 2 years in advance of the initially established period.
IRS introduced a bill for an act to amend the Public Sector Emoluments Allowance and Allowance Reductions Act number 14, 2021 to reinstate the 10% salary withheld on account of a salary reduction imposed on certain persons appointed to hold a public office and to provide for matters they are connected therein. Mr. Speaker, this bill has the recommendation of the Cabinet. I'll be just very brief on this. It's a very straightforward bill. Last year when we met with the public officers, we said that we had to cut salaries and allowances, and the projection was that we were going to do it for 3 years. But because of the performance of the economy, because of the hard work that the People's United Party government has done in the past year, we are now returning that 10% and allowances to our public officers 2 years in advance, Mr. Speaker. 2 years in advance. And I hope that the member from Albert and Mesopotamia and Colette will also get up and support this bill.
When we return, Belize pummels El Salvador in Central American Volleyball Championship. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
It's a cool back to school with tech tools from Cellular World. Beat the heat with the best prices on back to school supplies ever. Phone starts as low as $59, tablets at $155, and Chromebook bundles starts at $549. So come on in and enjoy massive discounts. 1-year warranty on all Samsung Galaxy phones and tablets, and get free SIM card data and bonus credit on selected purchases only at your #1 tech provider, Cellular World. Visit us at our stores in Belize City, Belmopan, and San Pedro, or shop with us online by sending us a message on WhatsApp at 615-5141. Find the perfect back-to-school bundle from July 4th to August 13th, only at Cellular World.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Garantizamos contener a los pacientes que allí estamos manejando y disminuir riesgos de infecciones para el resto del hospital.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
Belize, the 9th annual Hunger Awareness Ride is Sunday, July 24th. Registration starts at 5 a.m. for a small fee of $10 for adults and $5 for kids. The ride starts off at 6:30 a.m. sharp from the Belize Civic Center. Left onto the Philip Goldson Highway, left into the Airport Road, left into the John Smith Road, then left into the 8 Miles roundabout for a 10 minutes break at the 8 Miles Community, continuing into Central American Boulevard, then finish at the Belize Civic Center. Music provided by Silver Fox Sounds. Bring out the entire family for the 9th annual Hunger Awareness Ride on Sunday, July 24th. Sponsored by Plus TV, Channel 5, Channel 7, Creme Radio, Creme TV, Atlantic Insurance, Brothers Habet, Habet and Habet, Vibes Media and Television, Hot Off the Press, the Belize Tourism Board, Honorable Anthony Mahler, Belize Electricity Limited, Leslie's Imports, Crystal Water, Wave Radio and TV, The Angeles Press, Hyde Shipping Company, Aunt Joyce, Honorable Carrie Musa, and Abner Murillo. Belizean youths, stop the senseless killing.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
On Thursday night, Team Belize returned to the court to face off against the team from El Salvador in the 19th U21 Central American Volleyball Championship being held at the Civic Center in Belize City. Team Belize won 3 sets back-to-back as fans gathered to cheer on our girls in this regional tournament. Tonight, the team faces off against a formidable opponent from Honduras. Ahead of this match, News 5 spoke with President of the Belize Volleyball Association, Alan Sharp.
The girls came out last night and played very well against a Salvador team that is normally very strong. Salvador is a team that normally has our number. It started out tight in the first set, but then the girls took over and that was the end of that. They played very well. I think they know that they can still play better and that they will play better, especially in the game tonight and tomorrow night.
Who do they play against tonight?
They play Honduras tonight. Honduras has only lost a 5-setter to Guatemala. Belize has talent. I think that goes without saying. Last night I met a scout. There was a scout there from one of the universities in the States that already has some of our athletes, and she came specifically for 2 days, yesterday and today, to come and scout more players, especially female players. So, and we know that there are scouts out there right now looking at all the video footage. We have talent. We always knew this. It takes a good program. It takes a lot of investment. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice.
Volleyball in Belize has been quite successful in medaling at regional and international competitions. The performance by Team Belize so far in the U21 Central American Volleyball Championship is promising. They are expected to medal once they beat the Honduran team tonight. President Alan Sharp breaks down what it will take for our team to win gold.
Well, we have 4 matches total. We're 2-0. We're looking good. Now we have 2 more matches tonight and tomorrow night. And with a win tonight, we are playing for gold. So the game tonight is very important. The girls know that. The girls are ready. I think the fans will be ready. The fans got to play their role. The fans got to come out. We can see the effect they've had both on the opposing team as well as on our girls. So we definitely are looking forward to it.
Let's talk about last night's results. We know that on Tuesday for the opening, we did win against Nicaragua. And then last night it was basically like a blowout. Let's talk about that.
Well, the girls came out last night and played very well against a Salvador team that is normally very strong. Salvador is a team that normally has our number. It started out tight in the first set, but then the girls took over and that was the end of that. They played very well. I think they know that they can still play better and that they will play better, especially in the game tonight and tomorrow night.
Who do they play against tonight?
They play Honduras tonight. Honduras has only lost a 5-setter to Guatemala.
So is it anticipated that going into these next 2 matches tonight and then on Saturday, that our girls have to do what they need to do to take away that championship?
Well, yes, the girls will have to be playing at their game. They will be playing their game. You know, we have a very strong and talented team. I think they're well prepared. I think everything's going the way they want it to go. But I cannot overemphasize that Nicaragua, who we played in the opening night, we beat 3 straight, but almost beat Guatemala yesterday. So it shows you that the fans play a big difference against the Nicaragua team. Tonight we expect them to play a big role against the Honduras team, and tomorrow against the Guatemala team. They play a role both in affecting the opposing team as well as boosting our girls up.
Is the men's volleyball national team without a space for training? For some time now, the team has been using the BES gym for training as there is no sporting facility available to them for development and practice. President of the Belize Volleyball Association, Alan Sharp, says sports can change the world, but the facilities are needed.
We have to understand that facilities for sport is not something that's going to generate income to self-sustain. It's a part of the social development of a country. It is part of giving the kids something positive to do. But it's not just a facility. You need programs, you need investment financially. And yes, you can say volleyball is doing well. Yes, we are doing well. But it took over 10 years to grow. It takes a lot of time, a lot of trying to make it work. It takes a lot, and it's going to be the public part has to play their role. The media has to play their role. Government has to play their role. We need more facilities. We need that the national federations get assistance financially, of course, but also in programs, also, and I cannot overstate facilities. This is very important to development, and I don't think any one sport should be sacrificing for the other sport either. Every sport should be having a facility which they can train. And just to be clear, you cannot train 2 times, 3 times a week and think you will win anything, right? Athletes now to compete have to train, 6 days a week, multiple times per day, many hours per day. And add to that, not now even in Central America, at this level, you're finding that teams have full-time athletes, full-time coaches, we are lucky that we have some full-time coaches through the sponsorship of Simon Kwan and some other, the Belize Olympic Committee and so forth. It's unfortunate at this time that we are not able to practice the way we normally do in preparation in our male and in the male team. The female team, they practice at the Stars Gym. But the male team, which has done well abroad, locally, but abroad, and next year hopefully we're hosting a male tournament, they need their place to practice as well. And we have coaches. We have about 4 coaches working with them. But if you don't have facility and a set time, and it has to be in a programmed way. It cannot be helter-skelter, scattershot. It's got to be in a programmed way. And again, I cannot, it's not to take away from any other sport. All sports need their time and space to fit, but it has to be in a programmed way. Belize volleyball, right now the men are suffering. We need help. We need a place to practice.
He made Billboard's top 25 album charts with his country album debut, It's Been a While. His single, Cold Dead Hands, also made it to #1 on the Billboard's charts. Nashville, Tennessee country singer-songwriter Dustin Collins is in Belize. It's not his first time in the country. He has done more than 70 shows in Belize, including his BTL Park concert back in 2018. Collins has also shot music videos in Belize. This time around, he will be touring the country to capture some of the most beautiful sights and songs that this side of the world has to offer. The country musician stopped by our studio today to chat with us.
You're my old man. I don't have his last name. We never shared a drop of blood, but he loved me just the same. My old man.
This is probably one of the more personal songs that I've ever wrote, and when I finally finished it, and I eventually played it for my dad, and he don't cry for nothing, he's not a crier, but watching him break down in tears after just telling my part of the story about that, and I thought we have to put the song out because if I can make that old guy cry, I mean you think that everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people these days are in the same situation that I grew up in. And maybe this can help other people kind of explain the way they feel to, their loved ones as well.
You're my old man. Always try to do what's right. He'd stand up for a little guy, never back down from a fight. My old man. He sure can toss a couple back.
The first time I came, because I know a lot of people like punta and reggae and stuff like that around here, and it's I like it. It's jamming music. But first time I came down here, buddy said, "Come down here and play some country music," and I was like Kenny Chesney or Jimmy Buffett songs, and he was like, "No, come down and play your stuff and make a fan base." And I wasn't sold at first, and I got down here and I was like, man, this place is beautiful. And then everybody was just so nice. And sometimes you go up and play shows in the States and stuff, it's a little rowdy, people drinking and having a good time at the shows. But what I noticed about coming here is people actually sit and listen to the songs, and they pay attention to the words. And as a songwriter, that grabs me hard. What I wanted to do this time was just show off the whole country, from the jungles and to the beaches. I mean, the beaches are great, but you can go, 40 miles outside of the city here, going towards either Orange Walk or Caillou, and it's one of the most beautiful places out there. So, I mean, everywhere you go here, And I just kind of want to take some of that back home and show people, and like, this is an amazing place that you should come visit.
Old man, yeah, he's my old man.
Just ahead, summer camp for kids at the Y.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use Ecash. With Ecash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With Ecash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via Ecash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! What a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to smart code 5885. Here are this week's contestants.
He's crazy for believing that I'll never leave the ground. I'm staying with you, laughing like children, living like lovers.
Into the unknown, into the unknown.
And focus on things that are gonna make us laugh. Take me as I am.
I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible.
Those chills that I knew, they were nothing without you.
Thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are.
Round and around and around and around we go. No.
Yo te amo. Yo te amo. Sobre todas las cosas del mundo.
Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home.
Call me, take me deep, pretend my feet could ever wander.
And you feel the love tonight.
Remember, voting ends on Sunday at midnight. And don't forget to tune in every Tuesday live only on 5.
During the downtime of summer, kids look for a way to make memorable moments with their family and friends. Summer camps are a way to do that. All over the country, kids will be able to engage in activities in and outside of the classroom, that is, on land and in the water. There's something to do. This year, YWCA is covering all the bases with summer camps for the young and old. Sabrina Daly went out hunting for summer camps again this week and brings you a snippet of what your kids are up to at the Y.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
If you were looking for a one-stop place this year for summer activities, you would have likely found one or more in the 15 summer camps offered simultaneously this year at the YWCA. From cosmetology to baking, swimming, arts and craft, to learning conversational Spanish, there's something for the young and the older.
When you know about the Y, we're always trying to teach a new skill for our kids to use, for adults to use. We have the cosmetology, we have a nails technology group that they can use as a side business that they can start from young. We want to ensure that our kids are off the streets, they're engaged for the summer programs, and they're learning.
At the time of our visit, we met 4 summer camps in action. It's divided in a rotation of Tuesdays and Thursdays, then Mondays and Wednesdays. Camps are running in the morning and afternoon, and with reason. They are not without numbers. In fact, if you were trying to get your kid enrolled in any of the camps right now, you're short for time. They currently have enrolled over 100 children.
Because of COVID is still a real thing, so we try to limit as much that we can have the students per classes. If we need to open another one, then we go ahead and do so. But we have about 150 coming to our summer programs. Some of our more popular classes were the cake and pastries and the cooking. We had to open up another cooking class because the classes were we had so many people interested in the classes as well.
Over in the kitchen, just in time for lunch, were 2 chefs in training explaining that it is no new feat for them. This summer camp is an opportunity to brush up on their recipes because at home, they monopolize the kitchen.
I'll make pasta more because I don't really know how to do that good yet. But I still do it sometimes.
And you?
How to make dinner for people. Pasta, chicken fingers, and burger.
So tell me, what have you guys learned so far in the camp?
Not to play around the fire and not to have no jewelry and cut the fire attract the metal.
And you also have to wear mittens because you burn your hand.
The boys added the finishing touches to lunch this afternoon. Pizza was on the menu. The rest of the spectators, also cooks in training, allowed their leader in charge to handle the hot stuff. And while they were meddling in dough, their neighbors had their hands fixed in hair. The cosmetology camp is teaching hair care tips and braiding techniques for those interested.
It's been really good. I've met new people. I've learned how to take care of my natural hair and keep it curly like how I like it. I've learned how to take care, how to keep it curly, what chemicals, what products work in my hair. I've learned that I shouldn't straighten it that much so it'll keep curly because I want to preserve my natural curls.
Tell me about your experience so far here at cosmetology camp.
Well, actually it's great, but all we learned is just to take care of our hair, and now we're learning this.
What exactly is this that we're learning right now?
Well, how to crochet braids.
While some come to learn a new skill set like braid crochet, others come for formal development of language. The YWCA also offers a summer camp for persons looking to learn conversational Spanish.
It's the first time that the YWCA is offering a Spanish as a second language course for teens, so I'm very excited to be the first person to do it. And based on their reactions and how they enjoy the class, I feel like it's something that we could do permanently.
Mi maestra se llama Angelica, mis amigas se llama Eva, mis amigas me llama Busha the Lizard. ¿Cómo te llama tus amigos?
Did you want to do Spanish camp?
No, because I thought it would be boring, but it's actually pretty fun.
Really? What is fun about it?
That we get to do different activities, meanwhile studying Spanish.
It was a decision that my mom made, but when I came, I was like, oh, I have to do this. And then when I met my teacher, Miss Angelica, she just made the class fun, and we have played many games with her.
So do you feel like it's important to learn a second language now?
Yes, Mom, so that when you go to other countries, you can talk to the people.
And while Kemi is making her mom proud by learning a new language, one little boy down the hall has full days. He's doing drumming, karate, and arts and craft. But he says he signed up for arts because he wants to be like his big brother.
I learned how to make a fishing rod, and I know how to make a bear out of paper, and I know how to do art, and I know how to draw. It's because my older brother draw in his arts and craft book, and I really wanted to be like him. So my mom signed up for this, so I could learn how to do arts and craft. And he's in States right now, and I'm out here enjoying my summer in summer school.
Looking on the bright side of summer days, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Uno Fuels powered with Dynamax. Uno, a brand committed with the future.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Annalena Colonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.